Recording.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our team call tonight. I'm so excited for this call. I was thinking back, we actually began this entire series in the beginning of August. And so what a perfect way to wrap up this series with to have Casey Gunn. So Casey, I love what you're covering tonight. And it was actually Casey that came forth and said, I'd really like to talk about personal growth. I think I have an echo, Mark. A bad echo.
Hello.
It might be
Hello.
Bear with me. Let us fix
fine,
this. I'll come right back on the
Totally
echo. Just give us 1 sec.
You're fine, Mom. I think you're okay.
We're good.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Hi, Taylor. All right, so back to Casey. Casey came to us and said she'd like to talk about personal growth, and I thought, how absolutely perfect. What a beautiful way to end this series. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Casey. She comes from a town about 25 miles north of New Orleans, and she was raised near Norfolk, Virginia, and then moved to the Atlanta, Georgia area. And she's lived in Louisiana for about 14 years. She's a single mom with 2 kids, Connor, 12, and Darcy, age 9. She has her Bachelor of Fine Arts degree from Auburn University and her Master's in Business from Louisiana State. Casey has worked in sales and business development. She's sold software, advertising, all different things in the areas of sales. And she'll tell you what she's doing now because I think you'll all find it really interesting. She has some great hobbies. She completed her first marathon, yay, go girl, in February of 2017, and she's going to run another one in March of 2018. And she's just such an interesting girl. She loves self-improvement and also classic fiction. We have that in common, both. She loves to watch football, go girl, so do we. And she's also a member of the Rotary Club. And I just am so happy to have you here. So the way we thought we'd approach it, Casey she has a beautiful story to lay out for you and really just a perspective and take on the importance of personal growth. And then Taylor's been on a journey of personal growth this year as well. And also I've asked Kathleen to come and speak because she's deeply committed and has a profound experience with personal growth as well. But anyone else who's on this call, at the end of the call when Casey's done presenting, I'm going to have a bit of a fireside chat with Taylor and Kathleen and Casey, and I'll probably have something to say too. But if anyone else really has been deeply impacted by their journey on personal growth, please feel free to jump in and join our roundtable. So with that being said, Casey, I'm so excited for you to begin, and I'm going to turn the call over to you.
Great. Thank you. I'm so excited for the opportunity. For those of you that don't know, I just came back from the Tony Robbins seminar last week, so I'm really fired up about personal growth and development, and it really reignited my passion for isogenics and for working on myself. So a little background on me. I started as an isogenic user back in May of last year, so it's been about 1.5 years, and I had great results. After those first 30 days, I lost 20 pounds, inches off, I felt good. I mean, it was, we know how amazing you feel when you first start doing it. And I really dove in. I enrolled in Healthy Mind and Body after a couple of weeks and was real diligent on that program and got so much out of it. I think that's really when I started to understand the importance of personal development was through Healthy Mind and Body. It held me accountable. It was something every single day that I had to log in and do. And I really credit Healthy Mind and Body to me having the physical transformation that I had because I had that mental transformation foremost. So, that was the beginning of isogenics for me. I went to Celebration. I went to NYKO. I did the event. I was really in it. And I felt really good about everything. And then the town I was living in last August had a flood. And I lost everything. And it really kind of set me back a little. But I still kept moving forward. And I credit Healthy Mind and Body to keeping my head straight. Because, of course, I re-enrolled in that after I finished. I didn't just stop it there. But then life threw me another curveball. I ended up getting a divorce, and I think that's really where I kind of hit a wall, and I quit working on myself. I quit. I quit doing Healthy Mind and Body. I quit watching documentaries. I quit being involved in isogenics, really, because I was feeling so just blah about myself. Ended up regaining some of the weight, and I felt so guilty. And I really just kind of cut myself off from all of that. I didn't want to hear about people that were having transformations anymore. I didn't feel like I could help anyone because I was in such a poor state of mind. And I just kind of let it all go. And I was going to drag myself to Celebration this year, and things happened to where I couldn't go. And as a result of that, I ended up going to see Tony this past week. I'll spare you all the details, but that's kind of how that happened. And working on myself for those past few days really reminded me of how important personal growth was, and got me back into the right mindset. So I'm really happy to be speaking about this because I feel like I've been on kind of a roller coaster of personal growth in the past couple of months, and hopefully I can help someone else, maybe someone else that's feeling that way. So for me, personal growth and development, I think it's about training your mind to where when life throws you curveballs, you have the presence of mind to stick with it and get back on the horse. One of the best things I learned from Healthy Mind and Body was what you focus on, you find. And that really stuck with me. And so I know when I'm focusing on nutrition, when I'm focusing on exercise, when I'm focusing on training my mind, that's when I'm at my best. And so, I think, like I said, for me, it really started with Healthy Mind and Body, and then I branched out into other programs as well. But I think what I want to remind people of, and I have to remind myself of this, that you're taking time for yourself, and that can be done in the pockets of your day. Just like how we do the Isogenics business. It doesn't have to be this huge chunk of time all at once. What I've started to do lately is get up 10 minutes earlier, and I do some what Tony calls priming exercises. And I get my head straight in the beginning of the day. I just take 10 minutes. That's it. And that's all I have because I have children. But then I will put on an audio book in the car, and that's a little more time for me to work on personal development. So I just want to remind you all out there that it can be done in those short bursts. And maybe sometimes that's better because that keeps you going throughout the day. That reminds you, at lunchtime and in the evening when you're coming home or before you're getting ready for bed. And that kind of keeps it steady throughout the day. So I wanted to really talk about the different forms of personal growth and development. It's not just seminars. It's not just Healthy Mind and Body. And so I started to brainstorm kind of on one of some things that I've done and things that I want to do. And, the first thing, given that the first thing that really impacted me was Healthy Mind and Body, of course, is online programs. So I started with Healthy Mind and Body. I've done that 4 times now. I did, resigned out of one of them because I just fell behind. But I got back up and did it the 4th time. And like I said, that program really taught me to take some time and envision the kind of life that I wanted and the kind of body that I wanted and the kind of mind that I wanted. And I had never taken the time to do that before. So that's what I think was the real benefit of doing that program. And then from there, I did sign up for Healthy Mind and Body coaching because I thought, gosh, if this program had such a great impact on me, I want to be able to coach other people through it. And what the coaching program did was give you a little more one-to-one time with the head trainers. And then it helped you to kind of understand other people more so that you could be a better trainer. You learn the different personalities and it just digs deeper into some of those concepts. So I really loved Healthy Mind and Body coaching. I'm going to revisit my notes this week and just really make that a focus because I do think that it all starts in your head. The other program that I did and it's through Growth U, it's called Transform You, and it's 45 Days to Successful Habits. And then I bought Rod Harrison's book that went along with that, and it's a short read. I think that's something that I'm going to start doing is getting copies of that book for team members because they're just good reminders on how to create some successful habits and get out of your own way, basically. Excuse me. So those online programs, I think, were really helpful. Another thing that I love are podcasts. Given that I was in sales, I was in my car a lot. And so podcasts really helped to make the time go by faster. And I started out by listening to Isagenix podcasts just so I could get some more product knowledge, so I knew what I was talking about, or could at least fake it. And then, I discovered a few people that I liked through Isagenix. I'm just going to name a couple of these. Maybe you don't know of these podcasts. One of the first ones was Lori Harder's Earn Your Happy, and I really liked hers. And then something that I discovered about myself this past week, one of the areas I really want to work on for me is money and finances. And I realized I hadn't been devoting a lot of time and energy to that. And it goes back to the idea of what you focus on, you find. I do a lot of focusing on relationships and being happy and those kinds of things. And I tend to avoid topics about money and finance. So of course, that area of my life needs attention. So I just recently signed up for Chris Harder's podcast, For the Love of Money. And I've only listened to a couple, but I think so far so good. I, of course, love Tony Robbins' podcast. And then there's one by Tim Ferriss that I like. He's kind of all over the board with nutrition and business and interviewing, some of the greatest, most successful people out there today. And I'm a true believer in modeling. Find somebody out there that's successful, find out what they do, and mimic them, and you'll have some success. I really like Grant Cardone. He is a sales guy, originally from Louisiana. He's real hardcore sales. He gets me out of my comfort zone, where I tend to not want to bother people, or I'll just make a couple phone calls. He's a big advocate for just really crushing it. Do 10 times the amount of work that you think you need to do in order to be successful. So I like the energy that he brings. And then, of course, I like Eric Worre's Network Marketing Pro podcast as well. So I just want to get everybody out there thinking out of the box, on what personal development is. And, online programs, podcasts, books, of course. Here's one that kind of I thought of was documentaries. That's personal development too. And I know when I was first starting Isagenix, I watched a lot of Netflix documentaries on nutrition, on health. Given I'm a runner, I watched a lot on running. And I found that really helped keep me focused, especially if you're trying to watch network television. All you're seeing are, commercials about food, especially around the holidays. So I think flipping it to Netflix and finding some documentaries is a good way to combat that. And also something fun you could do with your team members, have a movie night and invite them all over and watch a movie about something non-Isagenix. I think that helps connect people, and then talk about it. The next category I have is audiobooks, along the same lines as podcasts, but of course longer. And there are so many good books out there that if you don't have time to read, you can find them on Audible and put them in the car, and you're good to go. Another category I put in there was for personal growth and development is your vision board. I think that's something I've slacked on lately, and I'm really excited to get back to, is spending time creating that vision board and then looking at it every day, and just reiterating what your why is and what your goals are and what that bigger picture looks like for you. And then you could say along the same lines, you could have a vision board party, invite people over and all make a vision board together. I think that sounds like a lot of fun. The next one, of course, is events. Given that I just came back from the Tony Robbins seminar, I did Unleash the Power Within. It was a 4-day event, and just being immersed in that culture and around 10,000 other people that were all trying to better themselves did so much for me. That's really what reignited me and got me feeling good about myself again, feeling like I could really get out there and make a difference. I rediscovered my why, and just being at that event did so much more for me than just watching Tony on a podcast, on a YouTube video, listening to a podcast. It was really about the energy that room brought. And I was reminded about how Isagenix does a great job of that with celebration and with NYKO. Actually had a very similar feel to Tony Robbins for me in the beginning, because it's so high energy and people are dancing and high-fiving and hugging and just connecting. And I think we're all trying to connect via electronics these days, and to be able to be there and actually hug people was, was such an amazing part of that experience. So, we all know events are important. I think sometimes we underestimate the importance of them. I think they really can do a lot for us in a quick amount of time. And then the last thing I thought of as far as personal growth and development is giving back, is volunteering. I think that's a real way for us to appreciate what we have and focus on gratitude. And I think gratitude is such an important part of personal growth as well. So those are the ideas I had. I'm sure there's a few more that I didn't think of, and I'd be curious to see what you guys think. You can put it on Facebook and we can have a discussion about it. But the last thing that I wanted to talk about was a little bit of my experience this past week, because it really was life-changing. So I talked about how important going to events were, and for me, I've just been kind of going through the motions in the past few months. I've been, I still drink my shakes in the morning, and I might have a bar every now and again, but I hadn't been cleansing, in all honesty, and I was feeling really crummy about it and feeling kind of bad about myself because I knew I could do that. But I didn't really have the support group here around me. Being a single mom, I have kids that want to eat a bunch of junk, and I need to fix that. But I was just kind of in a kind of ho-hum kind of place, and getting myself to a personal growth event like Tony, where I could step away from all of these responsibilities and all day to day, just for a few days, and really focus on myself and on thinking about the vision I had for my life and what I really wanted out of life was so invaluable. One of the big things that Tony talks about was this idea of burning your boats. And this is what really resonated with me. And his idea is, if you want to make a change in your life, don't give yourself an out. So with Isagenesis, with nutrition, go into your kitchen and clean out all the bad stuff, so you don't have the option of eating that. You only have what's in your house, so just get rid of it. Don't give yourself that option. So this idea of burn the boats is, if you want to take over an island, you go to that island with your boats, and then you burn your own boats, because then you have no choice but to take that island and take those boats from the inhabitants and be successful. And so I was so fired up over that. And I said, you know what? I'm not living the life that I want to live. I'm not living to my full potential. And I got back from Tony on Monday, a week ago today, and I quit my 9-to-5. And it was one of the scariest things I think I've ever done. But the freedom that I feel now, and I know that I'm resourceful enough to make ends meet. I know that, and I'll find a way. And having a strong why now, for me, it's freedom. I want to have freedom, time freedom, and freedom to do the things that I want to do with my children, with my friends, with my family. And I knew that I wouldn't have that by working that 9-to-5. And I knew that if I continued to do that, I'd keep doing it. And I would basically just die a little more with every commute, die a little bit more. And so I burned my boats and I quit. And it's time to really create the life that I want. And I wouldn't have gotten to that point had I not been at this personal growth event. I've been thinking about it, but I wouldn't have taken action. And I took some massive action. And I'm certainly not advocating for everyone to go out there and quit your job. But I was just to that point where I knew I needed to make a big change. And getting the support from 10,000 other people at this event that are all cheering for you and wanting you to be the best version of yourself really encouraged me to come back and make some changes. So, if I were to say anything, that's the best thing about going, continuing to work on yourself and have some personal growth, is you stretch yourself. You do things that maybe you didn't think you were capable of, or things that you never thought you could do. I mean, it really stretches yourself. And so I wanted just to kind of end on that by saying, that at the same time, personal growth and development is never done. You don't go to one seminar and all of a sudden your life is fixed. You don't take Healthy Mind and Body one time and think that your head is right. You've got to consistently take action. and consistently stretch yourself and grow and do things out of your comfort zone. But by working on yourself, and reading books and doing the audiobooks or going to the events, I think that helps you have the power to do that. I came back and I wrote on my mirror, I'm a warrior. I gotta stay in that mindset, right? I gotta, and I want to see that every day, that I'm a warrior. And warriors don't get scared, or they might get scared, but they push through anyway. So I've had a great past week with working on myself, and I'm determined to continue that and to keep it going. I signed up for Healthy Mind and Body again today, and re-signed up for Ice the Body Challenge because I had dropped out of that. But all this is related, and it's all you got to keep the whole machine happy and growing and working. And I think for me, I'm glad that I kind of fell off the wagon for a little while. I think I better understand other people that maybe are struggling, because I didn't struggle in the beginning. I was a rock star for the first 3 months, and now having that struggle, I think I can better relate. So I could talk for hours about how wonderful personal development is, but I think I've said the main thing.
Wow.
So,
That was so amazing. Thank you so much, Casey. Wow.
That was awesome.
That was so awesome. And I'm going to ask Taylor and Kathleen to jump on as well. And we've unmuted you guys so that you can participate in this. I just want to summarize for just a moment some of the things you said. First of all, the power of healthy mind and body, and what it does to help you, as you said, get your mind right. And I love what you said, Casey, that it takes consistent action. You don't go to the gym one day and develop muscle. You don't have one shake and suddenly feel great. You don't listen to one podcast and think you've turned your life around. It is consistent action. And I think throughout history, you find that the people who really step into that leadership is because they work the most on themselves. And it's a holistic approach. It's not just one thing. It's that daily discipline that you described in the beginning, when you start your day with intention, and then you live throughout the day stoking that intention, and it's coming out of your comfort zone. It's such an important part of it. And I love that you show the diversity, because sometimes we tell ourselves stories. I can't afford to go to Tony Robbins, or, I can't rearrange my life to go to a certain event that's across the country. But really, if you want it, it's available to you. In Isogenics, they make it free. They give you Ice Body Challenge, they give you Healthy Mind and Body, but also, as you said, there are documentaries, there are podcasts, there are books, there's Audible. There's so many different ways to access it. But what's important is that you take a step into doing it and then staying with it, right? So,
yeah.
And congratulations, Casey. What a bold move, girl.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I feel like the whole world is open to me, Yeah. Thanks.
So Taylor and Kathleen, why don't you jump in with Casey? Taylor, I know you've been on a similar journey this year.
How would you know that? You have no way of knowing what I do with my life. No, I've had the massive privilege to take a gap year funded by my parents, which is, I thank God every day for that, because it's really an opportunity that most people don't have, to have this experience day after day where they can capture opportunities. They can go for things that they're interested in because someone's taking care of them. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank you guys for that, because it means a lot to me. Personal growth. I'm a huge fan of personal growth. And I think there are two types of people in this world. There are people who see something they need to change in themselves, and they say, that's just who I am, and that's something you got to deal with if you want to be in contact with me. Or there are people who say, I see this thing in myself that I'm not happy with, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to fix it. Once you make that change and you acknowledge the things you want to change in yourself, and you go ahead and try and change them, then you can start moving in the path of your dreams, I think. And that's kind of the journey I've taken this year so far, is realizing there's a lot of things I want to change. And a lot of things I like too, but a lot of things I wanted to change, and starting to work on that and being okay with that process. And it's had a huge impact on my life. It's had a huge impact on how I interact with others and how I see myself. And I tell everyone I see that the importance of personal growth, and I recommend How to Win Friends and Influence People as a starter to everyone I know. And it's just it's an incredible experience to take time and focus inward, because I think that's something that's often lost in society, is the focus inward and on changing things about yourself. I think it's really important. It has a big impact on all of us. So that's kind of my personal growth 30-second elevator pitch. But it's been a really exciting experience.
And Kathleen, are you there? Thank
you.
Yeah,
I'm here. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
And we can see you too.
Yeah, I was in the car and now I ran inside. Yeah. Wow, Casey, that's awesome. That, you gave a lot of really great examples on personal growth. So I'm not going to go there, because those are all fantastic things. The one thing that I wanted to say about personal growth is that I have learned that, okay, everyone has a range of success, and success could mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. So whatever that is, when you are disconnected from who you really are, when you are disconnected, meaning depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, things like that, you are disconnected. The outer person is disconnected from your soul, to use a different word. And when you exist in that state, you can't hide that from the universe. You are energetically giving off mixed messages. And if you think, and I thought this, don't think like I'm some expert and I've been this expert my whole life. I just studied it a lot. But when you are disconnected like that and you think you're hiding it, or I thought I was hiding it, people know. You can't hide it. You can't hide it from the universe. You can't hide it from yourself. And when any of us exist in that disconnected state, you can never achieve your full range of success. So that's why it's so important to do personal development. So if you're, don't feel good about your life, or have any kind of feelings like depression, anxiety are hugely rampant, you need to go and seek out what are the causes, and whatever personal development resonates for you, and it's different for everyone. But when you correct that and you start coming in and you aligning the outer person with who you are with the inner person, things start coming to you, or as Jeffrey Cohn says, the parking spot opens up. You're in the right place at the right time. Somebody that you just bump into, could be the biggest business builder there is. When you're in alignment with that, amazing things happen. So I just want to touch on why personal development is so good, and how it affects your life and why it affects your life. It's getting rid of that disconnect.
And it's pretty much exactly what we talked about last week, right? People can pick up on the signals that you don't know you're sending, They can pick up on you're not so confident about what you're presenting. You're not so confident about your ability to deliver something to them. If you're not confident in yourself, people pick up on that, and that affects the way that you connect with people and the way you prospect and the way you interact with others.
Yep, totally.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, you guys, that's so great. I think that what's interesting is the struggles that we go through in life are so important. And as you said, Casey, they give you empathy, right? They give you the ability to understand a person in a different way. What matters, though, is that we recognize everyone goes through a struggle in life. We all go through this evolution to self. And that journey is so important and it's so valuable. But what also matters is that you allow for growth to happen. You welcome it into your life and you make it part of what you're doing. I remember I was speaking to Emily Varva at Top Achievers, and she said to me, I didn't have things in common with a lot of my friends growing up. And it was that I was always looking for more. I was always seeking. I was always working on myself. And she said, some people look at me now and say, how did I get to be where I am at 23 years old? She said, but the reason that it happened is I had been working on myself, every dimension of myself, for so long. So, it's not something to be intimidated by. It's something to welcome. And what you find is the more that you do it, the more that you want it, because you want that expansion in yourself. You want that clear line to yourself. And so, I think you heard it beautifully spoken by Casey, by Taylor, and by Kathleen. Always be working on yourself. Take that consistent action. Treat that roving university. Treat that commitment to yourself seriously, because in that growth is where your dreams are filled. In that growth is where your hopes are achieved. In that growth is where the examples are to your children and to your team, and the ability for you, as Kathleen said, for that parking spot to open up, for that person to come into your life, for those doors to open. It starts with you. It's what you think about, you bring about. What you focus on, you find. And it's really, what are you doing to work on that inner game? And what are you doing to work on that mind and find peace within yourself? All of these things matter. They're all part of this journey that we're on. And it's beautiful, because how many times have you heard that Isogenics is a personal growth plan with compensation attached to it, with a beautiful compensation attached to it? So, in a way, that journey through personal growth sets you free. And that journey through personal growth with Isogenics really sets you free in so many ways. So we had the benefit of that.
And if I can just touch on that really quick, Mom, it's at personal growth events, like what I foresee as the greatest shortcoming is that they always talk about ways you can improve yourself and ways you can go out and make a difference, but they never give you a way to do it. Like, they give you ways, but the great thing about Isogenics is it's not only motivates you into personal growth and almost forces you into it, because this is not skills you have normally. You don't normally know how to do all this. So you have to grow in order to be good at this company. So because Isogenics is paired with the personal growth and an opportunity, it's truly, in my mind, one of the best opportunities out there, because you get both elements so nicely packaged together. I really love that about the company.
So true.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and can I jump in, Lynn? It's Lauren.
It's open.
Hi, everybody. Isogenics does something so incredible that I don't think all of us really can really grasp it, and it's the quality of training that they put and give to us for our NYKO training ticket, $149. It's insane. I went last January or March, a couple months ago. I was invited to this event. It was for entrepreneurs, and I was sitting there, and I didn't really even know what it was. It was about speaking and getting your message out, but then believing in yourself. And it was so interesting, because I was sitting there, and every time some new category was brought up and a conversation was taking place about something, I kept saying to myself, oh my gosh, Isogenics taught me that. Oh my gosh, Isogenics does that for us. Oh, I don't need to worry about a customer CRM system. Customer, I don't know what that stands for right now, but I didn't have, I'm like, and they were advertising all these people that they're bringing their services, but Isogenics does all of this for us for free. And I walked out of there, and everyone was asking me if I needed, I'm like, no, my company does that for me. No, I don't need that. I'm good. So they just package, you got to get to events. That's it. Events are given so much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So true. Thank you, Lauren. And that's absolutely the truth.
Yeah, can I add one thing?
Yeah, please.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Isogenics does all of that, but I have found what is really, it's a good starting point. They can't address everyone's issues, at a seminar, but I've had to get really specific, and not to get too heavy, but what a lot of things that hold people back, it's childhood relationships. So it's actually getting back to issues that you had in your childhood, because you tend to repeat problems that were unresolved in your childhood in your adulthood. So you actually do, eventually want to go all the way back and unravel that. But I've gotten real specific, like, on what my issues are. So I'm not going to say, like, it's the same for everyone. It's like you find the book, you find the movie, you find the podcast, you go to whatever like relates back to your personal story, and then you get real specific about it. But Isogenics is a great place to start.
Excellent. Thank you. That's wonderful. All good stuff, you guys, tonight, and we appreciate it. Did you want to say something, Mark?
No, I just think that it's so cool that we can have this kind of fireside chat all in person.
Yeah.
It's fun, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's so cool, Kathleen, to watch your growth. Casey, I can't even begin to tell you how exciting and how inspiring and proud we are to that you got back up on the horse, girl.
Not only that you got back up on the horse, but you got back up on the horse and said, I want to share this with the team.
Yeah.
And we're so proud of you for that. And, I think that it's so much more personal the way this conversation happened tonight. And I appreciate all of your candor. And I'll tell you, there's not a person who's gone before you in Isogenics that hasn't had to work on themselves. And when you really have a conversation with the people who are running before you, you'll hear consistently what they say is they work so extremely hard on themselves all the time. I remember, and anyone who knows him has heard this story, but Jimmy Smith, he made a decision that he was going to completely change his life. He made a decision that he was going to go and deal with the things that were holding him back and really take a look at it. And he recorded himself saying all the words for Think and Grow Rich so that he could hear his own voice saying it, because he recognized that he was brought up with a financial blueprint of poverty. And he wanted to break that cycle of poverty. So he did it over and over and over again, hearing his own voice. And then he took some very bold steps.
People thought he was nuts, totally out of his mind.
His family thought he was crazy. I mean, he did some things that he could step into the persona that he wanted to become. And very bold. And so, what happens is in that journey, you get to the place where you want it so much that you're willing to do the work to get there. So, and you'll see that everyone in Isogenics, the leaders that have gone before you, they all have stories to tell like this, like moments where they reached the point where that was it. The line was in the sand and
burn the ships.
They burned the ships. And so, well done, Casey. I'm so proud of you. And we're looking forward to sharing this journey with you moving forward. And I want to thank you all for being on this call and really just take the time. That hope is ignited that's deep down in your heart, and take your time and take the time to do the work on yourself and be intentional with it. And thank you all for participating in the series. We think it's been a great series.
Thank you guys for running it.
Thank you, honey. Appreciate that. Next week, we're going to have a very special guest that's going to come and speak to all of you. Joni Brewer is going to come, and she's going to share with you some really important takeaways as you wrap up this year and get prepared for 2018. So this is a call you don't want to miss, and do make sure that you invite your entire team and build for this one. It's going to be a great way to launch into next year. Again, thank you, Casey. Thank you so much, Kathleen, and thank you, Taylor, for sharing with us tonight. We think you guys are fabulous. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Excellent, Mark.